Hello everyone and welcome to BAASS Connect Virtual, and today we're going to talk about BAASS Bridge Shopify. So what is BAASS Bridge Shopify exactly? Well, it's a bridge that serves to communicate data between Shopify and Sage 300. We also have an application that does the same thing but with Shopify and Intact instead. We take care of the data management, meaning that we have a database on the site that will ensure that the data is always up to date. We have a mapping feature for the tax and payments, and if you ever need an automated system, we have a Windows service that will take care of that. So the Shopify bridge can communicate between multiple types of data. It can manage the customers, the orders, the payments, the refunds, the shipment and invoices, and the inventory. But it doesn't stop there. We could always add other layers of data if needed. Okay, so let's start the demo by looking at the settings for the Shopify interface for Sage 300. So I'll go in File, Settings. And as you can see here, there's multiple settings done for the integration. So I have my Shopify API settings, Shopify database, my Sage SQL for fetching the data from Sage. And then I got default values here set up for the integration. The location mapping to map my Shopify location to my Sage location. And then when we go on page 2, we have the mapping to map the Shopify tags with the Sage tags. And then we also have the option to map the payments from Shopify to Sage 300. Then if I click more here, we also have some more settings to have a look and see what we would like to process. So here I'm processing my orders, shipment, and payments. Okay, so now that we're done with the settings, let's go ahead and create an example to make the process. So what we're going to do first is create a customer. So this would just be like a regular customer going in Shopify and creating an account for your website. So let's go ahead and call him Craig Jones. And his email would be zzz. Craig. And we're going to go ahead and select the province that Craig is in, just so it can figure out what tax this customer would need implemented. Okay, so now that we have our customer created, let's go ahead and make an order. So I'm going to create an order here. And Craig is going to buy a shirt. Medium size. We have 98 in stock right now. So let's add this. And our customer is Craig. Alright, mark this as paid. There you go. So our order is created, and then let's just mark it as fulfilled, just so we can see the shipment and the invoice being created in the system. There you go. So we got everything ready for the process now. So what the process is going to do is it's going to find the customer and the order. And it's in Sage, it's going to create the order, the customer, the shipment, the invoice, and the payment. So let's just go ahead and hit the process button. So I was working on an order before, so that's why we're seeing 2 orders here. So as you can see, it's just being worked on a little bit here. There you go. So the payment method, as you can see in the setting, was not mapped. So right now it's just using the default Sage payment method for it. So now let's go ahead and have a look inside Sage. So first things first, we're going to have a look and make sure that Craig has been created. All right. And here is our customer, Craig Jones. He's from New Brunswick, email, and postal code is here. The customer number is the ID taken from Shopify. So this is how we link this customer to Shopify. Okay, so now let's have a look at the order. And it's order 1162. So let's search for this order here. Okay, so here is my order from Shopify, which is linked with Craig Jones. And we see the example t-shirt here that's been bought from this location, so on and so forth. So we'll go ahead and look at what the shipment looks like. Right, so as you can guess, here is the example shirt again here. And here, as you can see, it's 1162.1. The reason why we got the 0.1 here is because there can be multiple invoices for that single order from Shopify. So this is why we always have the point and a number forward after that. And then we can have a look at our invoices. And again, it's going to be invoice 1162.1. And here is our example shirt again. And then when we have a look at the payments, if we go in the receipt batch list, we can see here a batch from the October 16 with 3 entries. This is because I've made multiple tests before this demo, and you'll see that one of the entry is actually the shirt that we just did. So let's have a look at entry number 3. So this is with our customer Craig Jones with a payment of $22.99 made in our default account. And this is how the transfer with the process works. Now let's have a look at how the inventory works. So the inventory, if you'd like to have it managed from Sage 300, we can do that. So what you would do is if you'd have like purchase orders done with receipts, and then we do the process, and these inventory would be transferred inside Shopify. So let's have a look. So let's just go ahead and create a receipt inside Sage 300. All right, so I've got my new receipt and just gonna pick a random vendor here. There you go. With our example t-shirt. And we want to increase the shirt from the same location that we bought them from. So right now we got 98 shirt in stock, but we'll go ahead and mention that we've received 50 new shirts at $3 a cost. And we'll go ahead and post this. Okay. So it's been posted, and we'll go ahead and do the process inventory. So the process did find that there was a change in the inventory, and they've put the quantity of this location here to 148 inside Shopify. So if I go in Shopify and look at our example t-shirt, we can have a look at the locations, and in London we have now 148 shirts. And that pretty much wraps it up for the process of the Shopify interface to Sage 300. Okay, so let's have a look at our second application, which is from Shopify to Sage Intacct. So let's have a quick look at our settings. So as you can see here, we have multiple things set up for the application. We have the Shopify API settings, And then we have the Amazon file path here, which you can actually export Amazon CSV files, and then we can use them to import data here also. We have the staging tables database and the Sage API settings to fetch and insert data inside the intact. And we have the location mapping to map the Shopify locations to the Sage location. And then here we have all sorts of default setting used to transfer the data between the entities. And then in page 2, we have the tax mapping to map the Shopify and the Sage tax. And we also have the payments to map the payments from Shopify to the payments from Sage. And here we have two small pop-ups that we can use to do a few things. So here we have the invoice conversion. And this is done to, if you'd like to do a quick bulk conversion from the orders to invoices. So you just have to select your company, your dates that you'd like to do the conversion from, then you hit the button and it converts all orders into invoices. And then we have the apply payments. So the apply payments is to make bulk payments on orders. So you would select a start and end date for all orders, and then which currency you would like to create the payment for, the Sage bank account, and then you would process. We also have those two buttons here. So if you'd like to do a process for all of your companies, then you could check this one here and it would do the process. And then if you'd like to only refresh your customers, you could also check this one here and that's what it would do. Okay, so we'll go ahead and try a process for the Shopify interface here. So what we'll be doing first is create an item inside Shopify, create an order in Shopify. So we'll go ahead and create one here. I'll go ahead and use Tom Jones for this example. And we'll be buying a NHL Winter Classic medium shirt. So we got our shirt here with 15% HST. So we'll mark this as paid. And we'll go ahead and mark this order as fulfilled, just so we can see the invoice being created inside Intact. Here we go. So during our process, what will happen is that it'll fetch all of the orders inside the Amazon file here, which is just one simple order called pla demo 02. And then it will go ahead and find also this order here that we've just created and insert them inside Sage. So we'll go ahead and start the process. Okay, so the process is now completed. So as you can see here, we've created two orders. So order 1164, which was this order here. And then we have PLA demo 02, which is the order that was created from that Amazon file. And then we have the payments created for those two. And we also have one invoice that was generated for PLA demo 02. And the reason why we don't see the invoice for 1164 is because here we forgot to hit the fulfill items. So that's a great example. Let's just go ahead and fulfill this one here. And we'll change a little bit of settings here. So now that it's fulfilled, we'll just process it again and we'll see that new invoice being created. So here it recognized that the order it has already been created, so it doesn't touch that. But here you'll see that invoice 1164.1 has been created. So now we'll go ahead and have a look inside Sage Intact. Yes, So we'll refresh our screen. So we have in order 1164 here. With our winter shirt and with the tax. And when we look at the payment, we can also see that the payment was created. And when we look at our history, we can also have a look that the invoice here was created 1164.1. And then if we have a look at our order from Amazon. So here's the PLA demo 02CAN. So we'll just view this one here. And same thing. So we have a winter shirt that we've created for this example also, with the tax and the payment detail with the credit card. And in the history, you'll see that the invoice was also created. So this is it for the demo. So just a side note that you can also create, we can also create a Windows service that will do this process automatically. So if you ever need to do like an hourly process, we can also install a Windows service that will do this for you. So thank you very much for watching.